Hello lovely dancers, my name is Aisha and welcome back to belly dance tutorials. Today I'm gonna continue with a series of stretching for belly dancers and we're gonna work on opening the upper chest. Now let's talk about the upper chest area. This is very important in dance, in belly dance in general, and in our posture. And it's an area that is very hard to open actually. I call it the upper chest, but of course the back part, the upper back is involved, the shoulders, the neck is involved, all these parts are connected. But the focus is gonna be the upper chest because we want this area, the collarbone area, to open and be nice, extended. Because, as I said, it's an area that tends to close in if we don't pay attention and if we don't work on it. It tends to go in, and once it does that, it's very hard to open it back. Now, I'm not particularly flexible in this area, so some of you may be more flexible than me, some less. However, you can do everything within your range of motion. All the exercises I present here are based on yoga methods. They can be modified depending on your level. So they are gentle and mild and they are very focused. Anyway, what I present here is not replacing a full stretching and flexibility program. If you are a serious dancer, you should be involved in some sort of flexibility program on a regular basis. What I present here is a little bit more focused and limited, but I try to make it accessible to pretty much everyone. Now let's get going with the upper chest. First of all, you will need a mat, of course, and some foam blocks. And if you have, you can also use a foam roller instead of the blocks at some point. Anyway, but foam blocks are very versatile and have so many uses. It's good to have at least a pair. I have a pair that's a little taller and another pair that's not as tall. Yeah, you can see the difference, but the other sizes are pretty much the same. Okay, so first of all, let's go in Virasana. Standing on your knees together, and feet out, and then you put a block underneath your sitting bones. So you're sitting on a block very comfortably. If you need more height, you can use one more block. If you are able to sit between your heels completely without a block, you can do that. Anyway, so let's sit here for a moment or two and bring the arms forward, interlace your fingers, extend your arms, and now bring them over your head. This is just the warm-up. So bring them over your head. We're gonna stay here for a little bit. Reach up. You can wiggle a little bit around and reach up with your arms and shoulders and rib cage. Now come back down. We'll repeat that. Interlace your fingers the other way, if you remember. Extend your arms and bring them up here. And we will stay here for a little bit. Again, each pose, each position, you should maintain about 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds. I will go a little faster in this video, but you try to stay a little longer. You can just pause the video. Open and down. Now bring the hands behind you, interlacing the fingers. As I had in the other video about stretching the shoulders, if you cannot keep your elbows straight, all the way. Here, back here, you can use a belt or a stick or something that you hold between your hands, and then you try to extend your elbows completely. But if you can bring your palms together and hands together, you can just do that. And we will stay here a little bit. Now we will come forward and bring the hands up. And come back up, come back down here. All right. Next up, we will change our position. We'll go into downward facing hero. I will show you. We'll come around like this. I have my blocks. My blocks are here. You don't necessarily need blocks for this one. Then the knees are apart, so I have space here between my knees, just enough so my torso will fit between my knees, and my toes back here are together. Yeah, so we form a triangle here. Now sit with your sit bones on your heels, and now you will stretch forward, keeping your sit bones on the heels all the way forward. And if you want to use blocks, that will give you a little bit more opening in the shoulders, and come back down until you reach with your forehead the floor, until your forehead goes on the floor. Now if this is too much for your shoulders, you can just take away the blocks and put your hands directly on the floor. But I like the blocks, so I'll bring the blocks back. And what you do here, you push back with the arms, so with the hands on the blocks or the floor, you just push back your body so that your sit bones come back on the heels. Okay, so you stretch forward, but once you're down, you push back. And also bring your chest down as much as you can. Up. Again, you should maintain everything a little longer. This is a very good pose to use anytime during the day, actually, before or after your practice or after a workshop. It will relax all your spine. It's undoing all the curves in your spine, especially the lower back. I know a lot of us have problems with the lower back after practice. So you can just do this pose and it will relax you completely and reset everything. All right, moving on for our chest opening exercises. Next up, what I want to do is to use a wall, and I will do something similar that I did in the opening, in the shoulder stretching video, but just a little bit more modified. For this part of the routine, we are coming to a wall, and what we're gonna do is place the hands up on the wall, have some distance to the wall, and then you just lean your body against the wall, but keep the pelvis back, yeah? So I don't want you to do this. I want you to keep the pelvis back and just place the chest or chin on the wall. Now come back, and now we'll place the hands much lower on the wall and move away so that your legs are perpendicular, so make a right angle with your body, are perpendicular to the floor. Keep the hands at this level, and Now press your chest down. So hold on, push your hands against the wall and press the chest down, and head is slightly up. So I don't want your head to come, all the way up here, and then don't leave it down here. Just in a neutral position, continuing the rest of the spine. And try here to press the chest down, okay? So see, trying to press the chest down here as much as I can, and we'll stay here for a little bit. And come back up. Again, maintain everything 20 to 30 seconds. Now, since we are here at the wall, let's do another exercise. I want to say that from all this routine, you can actually pick only a few of them, 2 or 3, if you don't have enough time. I'm presenting here a little more, but you can do the whole routine or you can just pick some of them. And come all the way to the wall. So your legs are touching the wall, the pelvis is touching the wall. And from here, we'll just lean back in a back bend, but keeping the legs and pelvis stuck to the wall, and come back here. Now, if you're very flexible, you can actually reach your heels with the hands in a back bend while keeping the legs stuck to the floor, to the wall. If you're not very flexible like me, you can use blocks to help you out. So I'm here and I'm doing this back bend, and I'm holding onto these blocks. So my hands are on the blocks and I'm trying to open my chest. My heart is toward the sky. And then come back. So from this routine that I'm presenting here, you can just select some of the exercises. You don't have to go through all of them. Maybe once in a while when you have time, try to go through the whole routine, but sometimes you don't have enough time, and just pick a couple of exercises to just relax your upper body, just do a little stretching and feel a little better after practice. Now for the next part, we are going to use the blocks or the foam roller. Actually, I'm going to start with the foam roller and then I'm going to move to the blocks for more opening in the upper chest area. So I will use the block, actually the foam roller here, and actually I'm going to use a block here for the head. You can use a taller one or a smaller one. If you are very flexible, you can use a simple blanket or just nothing, but I need a block here. So I'm gonna sit here, lay down on the floor, and we're gonna lay down over our roller here, and the roller is underneath my shoulder blades. Yeah. From here I'm just draping over the roller, and my head is touching the block down here. And depending on your flexibility, if you're very flexible in the neck and upper spine, you may not need this at all, and then your head would reach the floor at this point. If you're not as flexible, you can use a taller block. I'm gonna use a medium block. So I don't want your head to just hang there in the air. That's not good. It's too much stress on the neck spine. I want you to have some support under the head. So foam roller is under the shoulder blades. I have some support over under the head. Now, before you place your head down, it's a good idea to actually elongate the spine. So you elongate the neck, you just pull with your hands on your head, and just after that you just place it down and try to maintain that length in the neck. Okay? Now your arms, you can just leave your arms extended here above the head. You can hold the elbows here and let the arms hang down here. Or you can just leave them here or here on the floor, anywhere feels comfortable. I like them up here extended, or holding the elbows like this. Now with the legs, you can just bring them up here in a cross position and stay there with the legs crossed. It's a very relaxing pose actually. It should not be anything strenuous. And we're gonna hold it for a little bit. Now you can also change the position of the foam roller. You can bring it a little bit more toward the head, so it's gonna be more under the shoulders and shoulder blades. This will give you a different stretch in the upper chest, and you can just hold it here. Again, if the head, you feel it's too much tension and stress in the neck, you can always put your head a little higher like this. So try different positions where you feel very relaxed and comfortable. I'll bring it back to my original position because I like more stretch in the neck. And now bring the foam roller a little lower on the spine toward the tips of the shoulder blades, but not lower than the tips of the shoulder blades. Really, you don't have to go it any lower than that. And again, try different arm positions. Extend it up here, or holding the elbows. Try to switch the elbows. And if this is too much, just place them here on the floor. And stay here for a little bit. I will come up now. Now, when you come up, please, your head is the last that comes up. So extend your legs first. Place them here on the, wherever you feel comfortable on the floor. And lead with the chest. So I'm pushing myself in my arms, the forearms, leading with the chest. And head is last to come up. And we'll stay here a little bit just to reset. Alright, now let's try the same thing on foam blocks. So you can do something very similar using the foam blocks instead. For this one, I'm gonna use the thick ones, and I place them in a T shape. This is for my ribcage area, and this is for my head. And again, you can play with different heights. It's similar to this one, but this will give you a little bit more opening in the shoulders as well. So I'm gonna lay down over the block. Again, the block is not here in the lower back, is where the rib cage is, yeah. And I'm laying down on the block. Then the head goes on the other block. Again, I make sure that my neck is extended, and then I place it down. So you can extend the legs if you want. This doesn't put any pressure on the lower back, So these are good exercises to open the upper chest, the upper back, the neck and the shoulders without putting any strain on the lower back. It takes out of the equation. If you want, you can cross the feet, the legs like this. This is even more relaxing. And you can also play with the height of the blocks. If you are more flexible in the neck, you can put this block in another position. This will give you more extension in the neck. If you're very flexible, you can take the block out and maybe just put a little blanket here or just leave it hanging there if it reaches the floor. Mine doesn't because I'm not as flexible, but if you are flexible, your head may actually reach the floor. But have some support, so don't let it just hang there. Give it a little bit of support. Okay? I'm gonna bring my block back here. This is the height that I like. And we're gonna stay here for a little bit. Again, you want to stay a little longer than I do in the video. And then you can also go through this routine 2 times or through each move a couple of times. Take a little break and then you'll do it again. To come up, you can extend the legs here, put your elbows on the floor, hold on to the mat, push in the elbows, bring the chest up, and then bring the head up. And we'll stay here a little bit to reset. Now, one more thing I want to say here. If this height is too much for you, you can always turn it around and reduce the height, the block, so this will give you not as much extension in your upper back. So if you're not very flexible in the upper back, you don't have to go as high. You can go a little lower and use this height instead. Yeah. And it will still raise your rib cage area, so you'll still get some opening in the rib cage and upper chest. And again, you can play with the other block. You can put a blanket or a smaller block or whatever you feel comfortable to hold your head. And this area is still extended and opened, yeah? And then you can just leave your hands down here on the floor. This is a very gentle and mild stretch. And to come up, the same thing. Hold on to your mat, put the elbows and push the elbows, bring the chest up and then the head up. And again, you can play even further with this height. If this is too much for you, you can just roll a blanket or use another block that is not as tall. So you can try maybe with this height. So yeah, try various ways. If you are super flexible and you can do a deep back bend, you can even try the full height of the block with some support under the head. So maybe this. So that's an option for super flexible people. I'm not as flexible, but you can try. And you can just drape over. I don't even reach here. I need more height. So you can just drape over the block like this. And this is a deeper chest opening. Alright, so yeah, try different heights and see what works for you best. You don't have to overdo it, okay? Just stay safe. Alright, now one last exercise here on the floor. because we worked hard on this one. This was pretty intense, effective, even if it feels mild for most of you. Now let's come back here on our knees. We'll come back on our all fours here, and what I want you to do now is to just bend the elbows and come down here in this position. And now if you can go even lower, extend your arms forward, keep the pelvis up here, and then bring the chest and chin toward the floor. So people who are very flexible are able to expand their head a lot in this position. I'm not super flexible. And if you're also not so much, you can just go wherever you feel comfortable. You can even put a block under the chin. Yeah. Or as I said, as I did earlier, for average people, yeah, you can just do that. And I'll come up. Okay, so that was our last pose. Yeah, write down in the comments your opinions about this one, your suggestions. I'll try to respond if I can. Until next time, keep dancing, keep practicing, keep stretching. I'll see you next time, and stay healthy and shimmy shimmy.